So 20-minute tour, 20-minute numbers, 20-minute pitch. Now you can mess around with those, but you need those three sections. If you just do the tour and you leave the numbers off, or you leave the pitch off, then it just becomes a social club, not a business. So how many tours have you done? Like of the pictures and everything you sent me. How many is this every Saturday or once a month?
Every Saturday.
Every Saturday. Okay.
1 hour, and I keep to time, 1 hour. We're moving it in between the fix and flip and the new construction. And it's not the same people that are coming. We have some core people that are coming, but we still get new people.
Okay. So a couple questions. Do you have a check-in table? Do you do
We do
name?
not have we don't have a check-in table. We don't even use chairs. We just stand up. But we do check in people. We check them in with my computer, or we get an attendance sheet. However, last Saturday was the only day in this year that we did not do a check-in. But
Oh,
there's never been an occasion where we didn't check in people at all, except for last Saturday. And that was because I was trying to there were so many people asking for it on Zoom. So I was so focused on getting the Zoom right that I forgot to tell someone to do a check-in. But the Zoom worked. So
now are
I
you doing
dropped the ball.
house tours through Zoom also? Or are you talking the
No,
house?
that Saturday, some people in Houston were asking me that can I put it on Zoom? I'd never done it before. They wanted to join our tour on Zoom, through
Uh,
Zoom, and they did.
yeah, yeah. I got mixed feelings about that because it's extra work, but not necessarily extra pay. Not necessarily extra income, but you might have more attendees, but you have more attendees because you did more work, but is that work translating to more pay?
Correct.
So yeah, it's what the one big opportunity is making sure that the value perception, right? Like your property tours, the people who attend them and what you're doing for them is immensely valuable. Do you charge for property tours?
No, I don't.
Okay, so I think you should charge $99 for a house tour per person. Now, hear me out, because if they're on an OES, then it's free. Or if they are do you have an office? Are you meeting in a Thursday nights in a regular spot? Do you have an office?
Hello?
Do you have an office?
Oh, I have an office I can use, but I'm not using it. One of my team members has an office. Interestingly, she sent me a text that can we start using the office? But no, we don't use the office. We just go straight to the tour, to the tour.
Okay, so that might be an option right there. Is looking at that office, because then you could have the house tour, right? The house tour could be like part A, and then the office could be part B. And in order for people to get the full scope of things, they need to come to A and B, or B and then A, and whichever one. By that, if they haven't signed up from the first one, they're signing up at the second one, and you make it this language of obligation. It's like, how can you say no if you didn't see the other part? We're not going to let you say no until you see the other part. Something like that. Um, okay, so besides that, let's talk about the property tour itself.
Okay.
What time does it start?
10 to 11.
What time does your team get there?
We're pretty much on time. 10.
No, you're late if you're there at 10.
I mean, we open, so sometimes we get there 10 minutes to 5 minutes to,
Oh.
but by 10, we're starting.
Mm-mm. Okay. One reason why our property tours turned into money machines is because we were there 1 hour early, 1 hour prior to start time, because, well, several things. One is you're going to have early guests. That's just the way it is. And if they show up before you, you're gonna have a hard time closing them. So there's always going to be guests that show up 10 or 15 minutes early. And then since they can't stay the whole time, they're going to leave early. That's just the nature of the beast. Okay. The next thing is what kind of example we're setting to our team members to duplicate. If they're going to go do a property tour on the other side of the state, you're not going to go there every Saturday, but you still want your team to be duplicating newer and newer locations. So, okay, that's probably a guest right now calling with their credit card number, huh?
I'm sorry. I'm trying to put can you just put it on F phone mode or something? Okay.
Cool.
Sorry, I'm just trying to decline this call and it just keeps yeah, sorry. I don't know why they're so insist. I mean, they could have called me all day. I'm sorry. Could
It's
you
all
put it on
good. It's all
airplane?
good.
Yeah.
There's a person like that in my life. He thinks that calling 13 times is more effective than calling once. I
Okay.
get it.
So you were saying that you don't think that it's effective for us to be going to the property?
Here's a phrase. It says, if you're on time, you're
Yeah.
late. And if you're early, you're on time. Okay. So if you're running this like a system, and we're curating the customer's experience of coming, getting out of the car, coming and meeting us, getting a name tag, and coming and seeing someone make some money and do a deal and then go home. Okay, we want to have them experience something that they have to, in their mind, have this value perception of and go and be willing to spend money on it. Okay, it's not just like you opened up the house tour. Think about no one else flipping houses and properties in your city. No one else does what you're doing. Think about that construction site you're driving past on the way to the grocery store today. They're not opening it up, letting new people come and see hands on. You guys are doing something special. Daniel and Wanda and Bill and Frank and Bruce, all of you guys, when you open up a property tour, is so special. And you might forget how special it is because you just do it every Saturday now. So remind yourself and then use that value creation language to say, hey, I don't have to do this. Look at your fake watch and say, in fact, there's a hammock at my house. It's calling my name. But instead, because I'm mission driven, I'm here to help you. But I don't have to be here. In fact, the reason I do real estate is so I don't have to be here. All this work happened without me being here. And you got to point that out and constantly remind people that that value is there. Otherwise, it gets taken for granted. Anything that's taken for granted is wasted, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe when you put it on the calendar, you make the property tour $999. And if you contribute $50 a month, yours is free. Do you offer water?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I stopped.
Because no one is pitching in $50. That's why.
No, because they don't take the water.
They don't take the water. That's okay. Maybe some mints. Okay. What about do you have a whiteboard or a projector?
No.
Oh, that's why you show up 5 minutes early because you think that's all you got
Well,
to
I
do.
do have, okay. Whiteboard stroke projector.
Either one. The projector is going to make it look a lot more professional, but the
Okay.
whiteboard, you can at least work numbers out and then do your pitch. But with the projector, you're allowed, you could do your PowerPoint, you could do before and after pictures, and have your before and after numbers. It's nice and neat and tight. But then you can also do the pitch. We have to do the price point every time so that people can see that cost value comparison.
Okay, so what I was doing, which obviously I'm going to change, was that I normally do like a printout that has like a deal analysis on one side, the picture of the place when I got it, why real estate, ideal, and all that. But I'm
Is
gonna
it
change it.
all printed out or is it blank?
It's printed out.
Okay. If you want to do that, that's that's fine, but do fill in the blank thing because for two reasons. It forces them to pay attention to your workshop throughout the whole hour. They have to fill in the blanks while they're filling out the sheet. Then by the end of the day, by the end of the hour, you say, all right, are you ready to move forward with us? And they say no. And then you can say, let me look at your sheet. Look at the sheet. You didn't fill anything out. Or, wow, you filled it all the way out. You must be really clear on this. And now let's move forward. So fill in the blank. If you want to keep the ideal and the things that are in there, the deal breakdown, just put all the answers as blank, and they have to listen to your face throughout the day to fill in the blanks, because in the blank is the value. And if they're searching for the value and they're filling it in and they're understanding it, you're doing them a bigger service because now they're actually learning. And two, you're keeping their attention the whole time. If it's all printed out, just as a matter of biology, your mouth and your talking produces about 90 to approximately 120 words per minute. Okay?
Yeah.
But our brains can read, especially scanning, but just reading and listening to, reading and listening, we can listen to 350 to 500 words per minute. So if you hand me one sheet that's going to take you 1 hour to say and cover all the ideas, I can scan it in 30 seconds, fold up, put it in my pocket, and then zone out the rest of the day because I know what you're going to say. There's nothing new coming out of your face because I just read it on the paper.
Hmm.
So the printout is working against you.
Got it.
Sweet.
Got
Yeah,
it.
we used to do that. We'd go over the four currencies. So we just here are the four currencies and then four blank lines. Here's ideal, 5 blank lines. We did a couple questions on how to raise capital. So we left some wordings out that they had to pay attention to. We put a default versus design. What are the taxes and interest and default versus design for people? Wealthy is defined as, and then have them pay attention to that. Well, how do you define wealth? And then being more interactive throughout the day shows them that they don't know some stuff and that you are now much more valuable than they realized. They have to realize they don't know and that they need you in order to pay.
Thank you.
Okay, now as far as the 1 hour prior to the meeting, what I prefer is a Bluetooth speaker with some music. And we can play just the Renatus playlist, right? Brittany Snyder's made like 8 or 9 or 10 songs. But please, no ads, no commercials, no, free YouTube channel where every song is an ad for something or some, Spotify or Pandora free crap. No, no ads other than your ads at your events. Okay. Coca-Cola and Dyson vacuum cleaners, whatever. They're not paying to advertise in your room. They're not paying you, so don't let them advertise. Only what comes out of what's intentionally producing your thing should be broadcast at your event. Okay, so have some music, light music, off in the corner, and I like the music because it allows people to talk about issues they're dealing with in a private setting, but in a public setting. They can privately talk to you in the public because there's music happening. If it's a brand new house and it's echoey and quiet, no one's gonna say, "I'd like to do this, but I don't have $2,000." No one's gonna say that if everyone else can hear. So play the music. Second thing is if you're there, 1 hour to 30 minutes prior with your team, then you can have a team huddle. The team huddle. All right, folks, what are we here to do today? It's not spend an hour, but make a difference. So the team huddle, okay, we're going to have, and then you can assign the things. You're going to pass out waters. You're going to write name tags. You're going to meet and greet. We also need to walk around the property, make sure there's no trip hazards. And if there is, we need to make people aware. Team huddle. Aces in their places. Whoever has the nicest handshake and the biggest smile should be at the front door greeting everyone. Okay. Also depends on the property, where to park. Especially if you're going to be very successful with this, you might have 50 people. You might need to know, tell the homeowners, hey, homeowners, I'm so sorry. We're having an open house. We're going to do our best to not block any driveways, but I'm going to have several people showing up for 1 to 2 hours Saturday morning. Please have some patience with us while we do that. And just talk to the neighbors if it's necessary, okay? At one point, we had to park at a church around the corner because we were having 100 people come to our meeting. And the neighbors were not having it. So we used the church parking lot. And then we had someone standing on the corner to say the house door's down that way, enjoy. And yeah, it worked out great. Okay, team huddle is going to be huge because then it reminds you guys, you get all the social stuff out of the way. All the hugs, how's it going? Didn't see you for a week, what's new? Get all that stuff out of the way before the customers come. Customer focused. So when they get there, they feel like the service. And if they're getting the service, they're going to pay. We want them to pay 26 G's, right? Actually 28,588. Start selling that genius course in there. So once it's been pointed out that this is a customer focused experience, they get out of the car and they see 5 people dressed nice, nice house, and they start walking in and they just got smiles. There's some nice music in the background. Shakes their hand, gets them a name tag, says, "Come on in. We're going to get started in about 5 minutes, 2 minutes." Okay, customer focused. And when you guys show up early and you get all your team stuff out of the way, it'll make a big difference in how the customer feels when they show up. Okay, something else is when they are leaving. If a customer leaves early, then follow them. Not everybody, but usually the greeter, the person that was welcoming them. Okay, they're going to stay in the same spot. And then as people leave, if someone leaves half an hour early, then that greeter should go follow them and just say, "Hey, real quick, I noticed you're leaving early. Is everything okay? Did someone offend you?" Now, what are the chances of them being offended? High or low?
Well, I think most times they're going somewhere. I don't think they're offended.
Right. So they're very unlikely to be offended. So when you say, "Oh my gosh, did you get offended?" Then they can actually tell you what really happened. "No, sorry, I just knew I could only be here 30 minutes. I let Dave Pay know ahead of time I had to leave early." Okay, cool. Well, here's what you're missing is we're going to do a meet and greet, or we're going to do this part 2 at our office, or there's this private Zoom thing next week. Can I put you down for that? Would you like that? Would you like to be involved? And on their way out, that person is doing the ABAM-FAM. Remember what ABAM-FAM stands for? Always book a meeting from a meeting. Don't let them leave early. I mean, if you let them leave early, they still have to book an appointment, whether it's a phone call with you, right? They pay, it's mostly your operation, your office. So if you got a team Calendly link that all of your team members can use. Say, hey, I know you got to leave early, but here, I got DayPay's calendar up. Let's grab a 30-minute slot and talk about how you could do this too. And you teach your team how to book your calendar. So if they have to leave early, you still get your one-on-one. And the one-on-ones are where the sales happen.
You're right, because the last one was a one-on-one.
Yeah. That's where the wallets come out. That's where people say, you know, I got 400 now, or I got 30,000 now. And either way, we'll take it. I mean, we prefer the 30s, but we'll take the 400s for now because they'll turn into upgrades. Okay, so they're coming. We got our huddle, music playing. Okay, then the other thing is the tour itself. It has to be a little bit question oriented. What would you guys do here? You know, what would you do here? How much do you think we spent? How long do you think it took? Get their brains going. If you just keep saying all this stuff, they're not engaged as much. So using your questions, you know, what do you think we paid for it? What would you have done if this was yours? What do you think about the colors? What? The tour, 20 to 25 minutes. Actually, here's how I want it. Here's how we do it. The tour is 20 minutes. Then we come back to the whiteboard and we do 20 minutes of numbers and deals, and then we do a 20-minute pitch. This is why you should buy. This is what we bought. This is what we're offering. This is why it worked for me, because I took the classes too, and you should too. So a 20-minute tour, 20-minute numbers, 20-minute pitch. Now you can mess around with those, but you need those 3 sections. If you just do the tour and you leave the numbers off, or you leave the pitch off, then it just becomes a social club, not a business. So you got to have the pitch in there. And then in that pitch is, you know, you're going to go through the whole team. This is what our team does here in Houston. This is what the big Texas team does. This is what the nationwide team does. This is how much it costs here, here, and here. And the cool thing is that the pitch can be so much shorter on these Saturdays because you're in the deal. Look at this deal. We're making $100,000. We're telling you the cost is 26 to join. What's the big deal? How many of these do you need to do? And then when you end with your pitch, then you have your bam fam again. Always book a meeting from a meeting, and yeah, and then you just dial it in from there. Then what I would do to maintain control of the team and the system is kick everyone out. Hey, guys, at 11:15, everybody's got to go except for team members. Okay, you can have a little bit of lingering while we're booking our appointments. You got 15 minutes, but then if you're not a team member, leave. You can say it differently, but essentially, it's over for guests. Okay, and then at 11:15, so that'll be in your world anyway. At 11:15, you do a recap with your team, and the recap is always 2 questions. What went well on today's house tour? What went well? And you have each person give you one thing. You got 5 team members, you got 10 team members, you got your notebook out. Bill, what went well? Fred, what went well? Gina, what went well? Okay. Then each person needs to contribute what to do better next time. Not what went shitty. We don't do that. What to do better next time. Okay. And then just let your team know, hey, until 11:30, we got to do a recap real quick. Don't necessarily call it a recap in front of the guests. It's a team meeting. Okay. But what we're doing is we're recapping with the team. So in essence, the minimum it would be is 2 hours, because if you're getting there at 9:30 to do your prep, do your team huddle, do the event, then do your recap, book your appointments, it's a 2-hour event, not a 1 hour. And then you just know at 11:30, okay, we're wrapping up, lock the doors, and we're out. We're on to lunch. At this point, you know, you could tell your guests, hey, I got my team meeting, about 11:30 we'll be done. How about we meet at the Arby's down the street and you do your one-on-one right there? You got your next hour over food, sign them up. You want to be at the team meeting next week? Of course you do. Because in the huddle, you get more stuff than if you're out the huddle.
Fantastic. Okay. And I should still ask for the $99?
I think what you should do is when you put the house tour on the calendar and you put it as $99, then you make a promo code and you say, hey folks, on your own small team. I'm not telling we're broadcasting this to the whole team. I'm just saying if I had a couple people and I was getting started, I'd make a promo code and I said, here's a few ways to get the promo code. You pitch $50 a month. Okay. You can volunteer for 1 month. You're going to show up the earliest and you're going to stay the latest. And you're just going to do your best, volunteer. Or you bring a certain number of guests. If you bring a certain number, you'll decide they pay based off of each person. Don't make, the forward and the center do the same number. The center is never going to score as many points as the forward. So each number is going to be different per person, but a certain number of guests. You got a really charismatic director, executive type person. You say, hey, you got to bring 3 guests each week, and I'll get you the promo code for the month. You got some, shy butterfly validator who's still breaking out of their shell. 1 guest a week, or you're paying $50 a month. This is how the business runs. The guests enrolling can fund the business, or you can pay, but the thing isn't free. Play around with that a little bit. But those are a few ideas that keep people accountable. When Wanda first got started, she didn't have $50. She'd gotten fired. She had $0. But her 5-star was running house tours. And at one point he did a contest and he said, I think he had like 10 ICMs at that point. And he said, all right, the person that brings the most guests this week gets $1,000. So he flipped it. And Wanda got the most guests that week and got the $1,000. Then it kicked something on in her brain and she goes, whoa, if I just work with that same intensity every week, I can have as many deals and as much money as I want. And that's what happened for her. Now she's made nearly $500,000 in the marketing, and millions of dollars in real estate have been bought and sold. So the house tours are awesome, but you got to have more structure. Otherwise, it becomes a social club. No one makes money. And then one day you're going to say, why am I doing this? I could be sleeping in, goofing around, playing with my kids, my family. But if it's a business and it's cranking out 10,000 a week, 10,000 a month, you'll figure out how to do it. So make those changes. And then let's talk in 2 weeks and you can let me know what went well and what you're going to do better next time.
Thank you so much. I'm going to put this to work. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. So I don't want to let this go. So you were saying something about the office as well.
One more time.
You said, do we have an office?
Yeah.
So I do the intro in the office or I just get them into the office because the property was supposed to be a lead generation.
Right. Well, I would just go back to yeah, absolutely, Daniel. Glad you made it. And we're here for you. So maybe we could do the next one about your events. But they pay, as far as really making this $1 million a year income opportunity for you, the office is going to be a big deal. And if you have an ICM who's willing to let you use some space and you're not paying, thousands of dollars a month to do it, then go after it.
Great. But in the office, am I doing an intro or I'm just answering the questions?
Oh, an intro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you use the office to do your one-on-ones also, but at some point you're going to end each one-on-one with something like, do you know someone who could benefit from this? Whether it's coming to the property tour, listening to the velocity banking thing, understanding the comp plan, looking for an income opportunity. Do you know someone who could benefit from this? Every week you're going to ask that. I'm going to break this down. Who do you know? Who do you know that could benefit from this? And you could see it in people's eyes that they start counting. Oh, my cousin, my aunt, my uncle, my neighbor, my coworker, my boss, the guy, this other lady, my friend. Holy crap. And they just put a big old smile on their face. Now, they might not say them out loud, but you could tell in their face they're thinking about a lot of people. Well, if you know they could benefit from this, why not invite them next week? Okay, and then being excited about inviting people is what spurs on. And then you start to get a whole new round of ICMs that you don't even know today A month from now, you'll have a whole new set of ICMs, and their warm market list will start coming. And if your house tour is on point like this, check, 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 then they know they can bring their people to your house tour and make money. It's the new people that are going to be reinforcing this system for you.
A lot. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Happy to help. And I got to run. I'm getting a message. I got to hop on the Pat call. So I got a boogie, but I'm glad we were able to go into some details. I'm also grateful for Eris's story and sharing what she's going to be working on this week. And same thing with all of you for your contributions in the chat. Everyone else over the weekend helping us with Gavin's event. So let's go out there, keep pounding the drum, letting people know they don't have to settle for average, for default. They can design a life just like us. Okay.
Hey, thanks so much, Michael. We'll talk to you again soon.